How's it going, y'all? iNoobtacular here. We're doing a quick rate my team slash fix my team video here. No offense to the creator of the team. This is Loki Buns' Sand Rush team. I think he's playing it for doubles. And this is what he has so far. He came to me, he asked me for some help with building out the remainder of the team. I think this is a good chance to really talk a little bit about Regulation C, what you should be doing, and how we can make some small changes with the same Pokemon and really get the most out of it. Looking at what he has a Tyranitar here, especially defensively trained Tyranitar. It's going for Stealth Rock, Dragon Tail, Thunder Wave, Stomping Tantrum. He has a Houndstone with the Assault Vest item, Lash Respect, Play Rough, Body Press, Terra Blast. And finally, he has a Palafin here with your expected Flip Turn, Jet Punch, Wave Crash, and Close Combat. These are really all the Pokemon that he has so far. He's kind of been stumped from the jump here. But looking at the team, there's something that immediately jumps out to me. You have a Terra Flying Tyranitar, and you're not really using the Terra Blast for it. I think that you should be. I wouldn't be worrying about the Terra Blast on this this Houndstone. I think Tyranitar with the ability to Terrasilize is actually very valuable this meta. Especially since Indeedee Armarouge is still a thing. And I think that your Tyranitar should honestly be more offensively built. This is the set that I usually use. It's normally with an Assault Vest, so the first thing I would probably do is I'd swap the items on your Houndstone and your... Let's grab a Houndstone. Yeah, I'd give the Houndstone leftovers for now. Maybe. I'd swap the items on these two, first and foremost. I think that once the Houndstone has the leftovers, combining with something like Will-O-Wisp, you can farm a fast supportive core immediately that's not bothered by flinch, and you can start laying down burns and stuff like that. Another change that I'd make is I'd make the Tyranitar more offensive. Assurance works very well with Houndstone because you can single target or double target depending on if Houndstone gets a Rock Slide. No, it does not get Rock Slide. Yeah, so you can double target into your Houndstone slot, into whatever offensive slot you want to go into, and you can secure the kill with Assurance. Rock Slide's here, Terra Blast, Flying for Amoonguss and friends. And the Ice Punch should come in handy for any stray Dragonite that can't. I'm sorry. Yeah, it should come in handy for any stray Dragonite that can't. What am I trying to say? That should come in handy for any stray Dragonites that can't Terra Blast, Terrasilize at the moment. I don't know why it took me so long to say that. But yeah, so as long as you have this Ice Punch here, you should be able to get rid of some of these threats here. Again, Tyranitar is better offensively, and you're utilizing the Sandstream to build your special defense anyway. Since you're going to be at like level 50, yeah, you're going to get like a very solid defensive stat, plus the Assault Vest to double the bulk, and it allows you to beat some of the cores that you'll be running into. First move I run on the Houndstone is the Will-O-Wisp. I'd honestly prefer seeing the Houndstone be a bit more supportive. You have Last Respects here, which means that if you're going to play T-Top plus Houndstone, it means that Tyranitar should be at the back, Houndstone should be at the back. And it's not a problem, but when you have like a Houndstone that has a move like Last Respects, and it wants to, you know, fire off those Last Respects as often as possible, combining that with a Palafin just kind of makes it a bit hard because both of them rely on the same things. As for what you'd want for Palafin, or how I'd round this team out immediately by adding another Pokemon, I'd go with Amoonguss. Amoonguss is going to help. Let's go Regenerator. Amoonguss here. Amoonguss is going to help with your Tyranitar versus like things that Tyranitar doesn't want to take, like your fighting type hits, your ground type hits. Amoonguss should be able to sponge those up, and they should be able to form a core where that can swap in and swap out. There's a lot of physical threats, so the Will-O-Wisp comes in handy here. For the rest of the moves, I wouldn't change too much. Personally, I'd keep the Body Press. I'd also try to find the proper investment. Maybe go impish on the Houndstone or something to that effect, you know. Just get the most out of it. But yeah, I go this. Does Houndstone get Howl? Houndstone does get Howl. This is actually huge because you can lead this Howl. Tyranitar gets a attack boost. Houndstone gets the attack boost. And you can do stuff with the stats from there. Last move is up to you. Depending on what you want to do. Really. But you can, this allows you to utilize Houndstone in a way that, you know, if your T-Tar goes down early and you get the you swap the Palafin in for this, you can Howl, you can set up the Jet Punches and stuff like that. Oh yeah, so let's add the Jet Punch. Add our Jet Punch here. What other moves did you have? I think your Palafin moves are fine. I think Flip Turn's a bit hard to like set up in the current metagame. But you'll be fine with it, Wave Crash. And Close Combat. I don't think you need to change the EVs here. I think this is fine for now. As long as you're learning Palafin, I would go with this. You can go this Body Press Howl, and you probably want to move to utilize your Howl with. Probably go with no, you have priority already, so you wouldn't really need that per se, would you? Or Psychic Fangs, Flare Off. Get Snarl. This is such a good supportive Pokemon. You know what? Based on what we're doing here, I'd totally be fine going for Phantom Force in this slot here. And we can try Howl if you want to play Howl. If you don't want to play Howl, you can put an extra move in there. If you're not going to go with the Howl, I'd say go with Play Off. But Howl... Howl could be very good, especially if you if you position yourself well enough. Amoonguss is standard. You don't need to do anything crazy for the Amoonguss here. Pretty sure I have an Amoonguss. Yeah, there we go. So we'll just copy my Amoonguss here and then paste it into this team. What just happened? Did I just copy and paste the T-Tar? I did. Okay, there we go. Let's delete the T-Tar. We should have an Amoonguss, so let's paste the Amoonguss here. Yeah, this gives you a bit more of a defensive backbone, and it also gives you a way to play around Palafin a little bit more. Last Pokemon's kind of up to you. You wanted to play Choice Band. I don't recommend it. I'd say go with Life Orb, but I think that Choice Band could be fine. It's a lot of damage, and if you're really just going for like wave crashes and stuff, that's probably the best thing to do. The reasons why I wanted to change your T-Tar. Normally when you're going for speed control, you want it on a faster Pokemon. Tyranitar has base 60 speed, and there's no way for you to boost that outside of Dragon Dance. So it's not really going to be the best help in that regard for that. Stealth Rocks, if you're going to be setting up Stealth Rocks, it's probably best on Ting-Lu or on Glamora that can get those up naturally. And Dragon Tail, this is -6 priority. So you really would just leave your T-Tar as a sitting duck if you use this. Everything that's on T-Tar now is priority bracket 0. And everything gives it an immediate chance to do something after you set up the Houndstone or after you've done, you know, whatever you need to do. I'd be looking for a way to boost the speed of this team. Just in case. So something you can consider running is like a Murkrow. Tailwind, and the last one was pretty much up to you. I'll play Tailwind. Yeah, the last one was up to you. If you want to run Haze for Dondozo, you can. This is also why people usually run the Palafin with like a life orb or so, because they usually just run the Haze on the Palafin. But this allows you to get a quick flip turnout and switch to a partner. Normally it's going to be the same Amoonguss. Amoonguss is going to be really huge on your team in terms of just gluing it together and making it work. Oh yeah, this is what I do for your Houndstone. And I really want something that can make use of that Hex. Well, that like the Wisps and the Sleep Powders and stuff like that. Something with maybe with Hex. But I think at that point we're kind of just pushing it. What the team really needs to round it out at this point to me is a fighting type. And you know, there's a vast majority of those that you can use. I think since you like Lucario, this is actually a good chance for you to get use out of it. So I'd put a Life Orb on here. Paranormal. Go Extreme Speed. Yeah, because Lucario has in focus, so you don't get intimidated. So I'd go Extreme Speed, Close Combat. Doesn't Lucario get Meteor Mash? It does. You can use that if you want. And since Lucario is frail, you'd probably want to run Protect just to keep it around. But yeah, so now you have ways to lead into these teams here. You can lead the Murkrow and Murkrow plus Lucario. And this gives you enough playability to get out of certain situations. You have Palafin here. Palafin should be able to deal with any Arcanine or anything like that. I would want Knockoff. Does this get Knockoff? Okay. But yeah, so for like a base version of the team, I think that this is good enough. The main thing that I want is a way to deal with Arcanine. And if we found that, you'd pretty much be golden. There's a lot of physical threats on your team as well. So there are a couple things that may need to change. Maybe something more offensive instead of the Murkrow. Or we could use a special Lucario. Maybe not Murkrow. Go Gale Wings, Talonflame. We'll go Covert Cloak. Go Tailwind. We'll go. Let's put the Wisp here instead then. And we'll also do. Too bad it doesn't learn that. Go Brave Bird, and whatever last move you want to put in here, you can put. If you want to put Protect, you can put Protect. Doesn't need to be bulky. It's your call on this. If you want to run this way, you can run it this way to get the most survivability out of it. And that would free your Houndstone up to run Last Respects like you want to. And I'd still go with the Howl. Just throw a Focus Sash on here. Yeah, so what we've done now is we turned it into a team where you can run your Talonflame and your Lucario early. And once you've gotten these two out of the way, like, you can just end the game with T-Tar and Houndstone. You can also lead Palafin plus Talonflame. Switch to your Amoonguss, status what you need to status or whatever. And then bring the Palafin out later to get Jet Punches and, have your T-Tar hit stuff with assurance, basically. I don't think it's a perfect strategy. At the moment, I'd have to really work it out. But if I were to make some changes to your team, these are the beginning changes that I'd make. Oh yeah, I have 2 Covert Cloak here, and I have a Sash used. We need a Covert Cloak here, because this is how you're going to beat Garganackle. Let's put the Focus Sash on the Talonflame then, and then... For Houndstone, I guess you could just go... You know what? Here's what we're going to do. I have Clear Smog on this? I don't have Clear Smog on this. So we're going to go Mystic Water. I'm going to drop Flip Turn for Haze, and you're going to hard switch this out so you have a better Dondozo matchup. And what we're going to do here is we're going to give Houndstone the Life Orb. That way when it comes in later, if it sets off the Howl, you get the most benefit out of it. And you can just start +1 last respecting everything after you've lost some Pokemon such as the Talonflame. You're gonna have to play really well with this Haze though. You're gonna have to use these two very well versus like a Garganackle and make sure that you're getting the most out of it. But yeah, this is how I'd fix your team immediately. I know you want to use Lucario, so I went ahead and tossed that on there. If you don't want to use this set, maybe you want to go for a more special oriented one. What I'd do is I'd go for Scarf. I'd go with Flash Cannon. I'd go obviously Aura Sphere, because Aura Sphere is great. Lucario should give it like a plethora of really good physical moves. Gets Trailblaze, that's nice. Get Copycat. Go Vacuum Wave for special. Or you could just go Terra Blast. You can Terra your Lucario. Whatever you notice is the team is weak to, you just go Terra Blast and you add that Terra type to your Lucario. Main thing you're gonna be worrying about is Ting Lu, but yeah, I think you have answers for that, honestly. Yeah, so we went from this to this, and I think that this is a bit more versatile. You have answers to Among Us, you have answers to the Trick Room setters. You can still use your Houndstone early or late game as often as you want. Bring it in, get that last respects. If you go for it early, you can also Howl, and you can be setting up for the Palafin. You have your Among Us here that can redirect stuff, and outside of redirection, you can also, just set up moves for yourself. Got Haze on your Palafin here. You got a Talonflame that with Tailwind, so you can set up your things early. You also got your Will-O-Wisp here. And yeah, maybe you don't have to run this. I like Scarf because if I'm not mistaken, Scarf allows you to outrun speed tiers. Let's see. Pokemon Generation 9 speed tier. Alright, let's pull this up. Fluttermane is one of the main. We want to hit this speed tier. It's at 205 max. So we want our Lucario to be faster and after a Scarf. Okay, let's grab a calculator. Okay, we can slow this Lucario down a little bit. We just need 1.5 to be faster than 205. Let's see. Let's see. God damn it, where'd my calculator go? Wasn't quite done with it yet. Should be at like 136. Let's go timid. I want to go with Terra Fairy, I guess. Still have Scarf. Does Lucario learn a spread move? It's Dragon Pulse. I don't know what that's useful for. It's Life Dew. Lucario also gets Howl. Just go with the Vacuum Wave here. And then we can probably open a damage calculator and see how much. Okay, so we got a damage calculator here. Let's get a Great Tusk. I don't think that they're going to be running defense. They usually... This is worst case scenario. I don't think they're going to be running special defense. They may be like Assault Vests. Maybe. So let's go... Max Special Attack, Lucario. Timid Nature. We're gonna go Terra Blast. That almost KOs. That's huge. And if we had helping hand, it's a 50% chance to KO. It's okay, but not the best. How much does double stab flash cannon do? Same damage here. So you're better off going flying. Going fairy. Get the helping hand off. You get a 50% chance to kill. We should have stuff that can afford the helping hand. I don't think Dolphin gets helping hand. Yeah, it doesn't get it. Can also guarantee the burn, so it's not that big of a deal. Problem is that we would die because we're gonna take the headlong rush. Can we afford modest? Yeah, modest helping hand always kills. Okay, so there's something. Let's go modest then. And the speed tier we had to hit was 137. There we go. So we had 40 EVs left. Two 3644. We just need a helping hand and we KO this thing. Either way, it does put Palafin in jet punch range of it, so it's not the worst situation, honestly. This works out fine. You get a little checkout in the end. You still run your howl. You can howl up and help the Palafin with your jet punches. You can howl up. T-Tar's there to get some stuff going. Can always lead Houndstone plus Palafin. Maybe the playoffs not necessary. Maybe we could just go protect to save the Houndstone for as long as possible. Now we're gonna need body press for King Gambit, but we're gonna need to make sure that we can EV this properly. Not to mention, we can also use Among Us to redirect the how strong is our flash cannon versus what I mean? Flash cannons guarantee one-hit KOs. It's good. What's faster? I don't think they should outspeed us. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. Gets concerning when they are booster energy though, but in that case you could just tailwind. Get your flash cannon up. Don't you get... You do get Final Gambit, which is also something to consider. Because you can play the Final Gambit and it boosts your Houndstone's last respects. And it already makes it a base 100 move. You just have to be ready for the... You just have to be ready with 150 HP. Alright, I think this is how I'd run your team up for now. You have a pretty fast Lucario with Final Gambit that gives you a way to enable your Houndstone, which you want in the back of the team. You can still lead Lucario plus Tyranitar if you want. I wish this thing got Icy Wind though. Yeah. It's Bulldoze, but that's not Icy Wind, you know. Like, if this has a form of speed control immediately, it would have been a different story. But that's not the case. So you have a variation of leads. If you want to go into your Palafin stuff, I'd say Among Us Palafin. So you can redirect the hit into your Among Us if necessary. And then switch out the Among Us for Palafin later on in the match. They have a good defensive synergy here. If you want to switch to something else, you can also switch to something else. But these two are honestly the best bet for that type of synergy. From there, you can probably switch into your Talonflame. You get the Talonflame in, you get your Tailwind up. You have a big buff Palafin in the back of the team with +2 speed. You also got your Houndstone there in case something goes down. And the thing is, that Houndstone is like high ceiling, but you'll learn as time progresses how to play with it. And most of the team is kind of high ceiling, but I think this is probably the best way to get it set up for you. I honestly think that Lucario is probably better off physical to make use of the inner focus. But this is also fine. I'll try to be completely honest with you. Over time, you'll learn how to play this team. Pollen Puff is here to heal up your Houndstone or your Tyranitar. It's also here to heal up your Palafin when necessary. And once you've gotten these Pollen Puffs off, you can also fire this off into Wo Shen, and it should one-shot it. I'll do the calcs and I'll update the team. But this is kind of where I want you to start with thinking about your team. This is the theory that you want to have behind it. I have speed control. I have match winners on my team that have things that they can do. I'd also want to go Terra Fighting, so Body Press does more. Because Last Respect will always have Stab. I have ways to do multiple things that lead to, well, other things on my team. And checks for other things on my team. For example, your T-Tar is actually... T-Tar and Among Us actually check Trick Room. So you can actually play that core there where necessary. You have access to additional cleanups and additional checks for the meta. And stuff that you want to run like Lucario. You have... I mentioned the speed control. You have general control in Among Us, where you can redirect what the moves they want to do. You can heal your Pokemon up. You can put their things to sleep. And your Among Us is also not going to be in a bad position when you're doing any of that stuff. And you have other things like Palafin that can match win for you, but outside of being able to match win for you, your Palafin's also able to, you know, utilize moves like Haze and reset stats that were pushed too far out. These are the general philosophies that you want to carry when you're building a VGC team. And these are... And this is kind of how I'd build or fix your team. Went from here to here. I hope you like it. Let me know if you have any issues using it down the line.